Hi, I'm Karen Fraser Middleton with CCC Maker Marketing, and we have Ronnie Roper, UX designer for iTool, and we're going to be discussing managing your makerspace on the CCC Maker website, and this will be focused on the location tab. So you'll be able to provide some specific information about your makerspace on our website so that people will be able to find the address, know who the main contact is, get a phone number, follow you on social media, find any websites associated with it, and your hours of operation. So I'm going to let Ronnie show you how that appears on the website, and then the back end, how you'll change all that information.
All right, so let's flip over to my screen. And all right, so again, quick recap. This is after you have logged in to the Makerspace admin area, and you need to click on spaces on the left, and then you'll see your space name. And again, you can hover over and hit the edit link, or you can simply just click the title, click the name of your space. When the next page loads up, you're going to see a couple tabs in here. And this video is specifically about this tab, location info. We have the other videos about the profile graphics, about contributors that you can check out. But this video is specifically only going over location information. And as you can see, we have some locations added in here for Sierra College Makerspaces. And how does that look on the front end when somebody actually visits your profile? Let's go there really quick to see what it looks like. So I'm going to click Makerspace Locations on the right. And it's going to load up with the map on the left. And then I have a title, I have the address, which this is clickable. It'll open up a Google map. I'm not going to do it right now. But then the phone number, you'll see that's a hyperlink, because if you're on a phone viewing this on a mobile device, then you can just tap the number and it'll ask you if you want to, or at least on iOS, and I think Android does it too, then it'll open up and then ask you if you want to call this number. And then you've got the website and follow this location. Now, if you'll notice, there's some information that's not listed here that this location underneath does have. The only point, let me see if the other, yeah, okay. The other ones don't have project lead and project lead title listed on those. There's another field in here that you could, if you wanted to, put a contact for. But this information, if it's not filled out, it simply does not appear on the front end. So when I'm showing you underneath the locations tab, let me switch over to that, then you'll see the fields when I hit this toggle button, and ones that contain no data, we just don't show that on the front end.
And this is a lot more complicated because Sierra College has 3 different makerspaces that they're affiliated with. So most of you, this is going to be really pretty simple. You could have your college information, and then if you've got specific information about where the makerspace is located on your campus, like in the engineering lab in building H at this address or this room number or whatever it is, you'll be able to put in that specific information. So most of you will, your locations page will be quite a bit more streamlined than this.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point. Where would I put some maybe additional information about this location? And when we hop over to the edit screen, then you'll notice that most of these are one field. So you have a street address, you have a city, you have a state, you have a zip. One thing that you don't really have to worry about is the latitude and longitude. This is not something that you have to worry about getting or finding out, because the system, the software essentially, when you put an address in and you hit the update button over here on the right, it automatically, it just uses the Google API, it goes over there, grabs the latitude and longitude. You don't have to worry about it. What we need it for is the map. under makerspaces to show all the makerspaces on the map. So this map is using the latitude and longitude to put those pinpoints on here. And then when you click on a pin, then you see the information that you've saved underneath that location. So each one of these is a separate location. And you'll notice some of these have some information filled out more than others. For example, Truckee Roundhouse, you see the phone and the website. And one of these I clicked on, it just has the address with no phone number. So if there's no data entered in here, it's not going to show on the map pin, and it's also not going to show under this location space as well on this page. So you've got a spot for a contact, you have a project lead and a project lead title, and you have one phone number right now. So underneath that, you've got a spot for a web address and then social media. Let me look at something really quick. Okay. So for social media, it's pretty simple. I'm actually going to delete this one and show you how to add one in here. So to add a new one, say I wanted to add Facebook, then I just click Add Service, and it's going to enter in a default. This is just the default one. But if I click this drop down right here, then I can now start typing something. And as soon as I start typing face, I'm going to see the icons that are available to me. And I usually select the official one. And then the field right below it is the spot for the URL. So you have to go to your Facebook page and copy this URL and paste it in here. And then if you wanted to reorganize these icons, then you grab this blue box right here and drag it to where you want. And I want to drag it in the middle. Oh no, I want to drag it to the top. Okay, so I just drag and drop it where I want it in the order. You notice the numbers change, and then now that's reordered, and I can hit my update button if I'm done making my changes. But I'm not done making changes because I want to show one more thing. I'm going to hop over here. You notice that Hacker Lab has hours of operation. Sierra does not have anything listed underneath there for hours of operation because there's no data that's entered in there. But if I jump over here, and let's just put some placeholder information for now, because I want to show you how flexible this space is. I can put quite a bit of info in here. I'm not limited to the amount. So if I had some special instructions about this location, like Karen mentioned earlier, or if I had maybe an extra link or another website that I wanted to feature, or a message that is to whatever it is, then you can add that in there. And then now I'm done modifying this particular location, and I can hit update. I'm going to show you what's affected on the front end. So when I hit refresh, you're going to see that text flow through at the bottom of the Sierra College space here. So now I see hours of operation, which I could have hours of operation listed here, but then I could still feature some additional info if I wanted to. I just wanted to show that it doesn't have to be in this particular format. You can have a list like this, like you have it listed out, but then you can also have some other stuff underneath it if you wanted to. Going back to location information, adding a new one. This little button right here, as soon as you click it, it's going to add another row. And then this is your title. You notice that this says Truckee Roundhouse, Curious Forge. These titles are used in two different places. One, here, and two, on the map, where the pin shows up. So when you click the pin, then the title is used at the top. So those two spaces, that title is used in those two spaces. So you want to make sure that you get that title right. and it's right there in that field. And then you can begin to add the address information in here. Again, you can skip over the latitude and longitude, but there is a little side note about latitude and longitude that I don't want to forget. If this address changes at all, then you need to delete the latitude and longitude. Simply just delete it if the address changes, and then hit the update button. Because what that's going to prompt is it's going to prompt the system to put in new latitude and longitude for this address. If you do not do that, the old latitude and longitude will be used on that map, and it'll not correspond. It will not correspond with the new address change. So I just want to make a note of that so everybody knows. Whatever information I wanted to fill out here, then I could just continue to do that. And then once I'm done, I'm not going to, actually I could just put a test in here so you guys see how that flows in. Okay, I'm going to hit update. And then once it saves, I'm going to go back over here and refresh this page, and I should see a test location added to the bottom of this list now.
So if you're starting with just one Makerspace lab in one location, and then you add to other locations around your campus, you can follow the directions that Ronnie just gave with this sample of the test. Or maybe you need to relocate your lab, so then you could just update the address and remember to remove the GPS longitude and latitude before you update the address, so that it will show that you've moved to the new location.
So I don't want to keep this test on here now, right? So I want to delete it. Pretty simple. I just hit the tab location info. And when I hover over, each one of these rows has a plus or a minus to them. I'm just going to hit the minus on here. It's going to take it off. And again, I need to hit update. So it actually saves my changes. And then when I come back over here, I can refresh my page. And doing these edits, I found it's quick if you have two tabs open in your browser, so you can switch back and forth. And now you see the test is gone. So it's that simple to add information in here. One last note about social media. There is a ton listed in here. So as you can see, if I scroll through, there's a ton of different icons, but through these icons, I could say Twitter. I could say Instagram. What's another one? LinkedIn, YouTube. So I just start typing and it auto completes for me, and it shows me the right icon, and then I can just click on the one that I want, paste my URL in there, and then it's good to go. And then again, if you want to delete something, then just hover over that row and then hit the minus symbol, and then it will delete. You just want to be careful not to delete on the very outside. You'll actually delete this entire location, then you'll have to add it in all over again. So try not to delete in this outer row. As you can see, when I collapse this up, then each one of these has their own. So if I was to delete this, then that location is gone. So I just want to kind of make a note. The only caveat is right here with the social media. They have little hover over items, and sometimes it can kind of line up closer to that other minus sign. So just be careful of that. Other than that, I think once you start editing locations, then it's pretty straightforward. Everything has its own label and its own field associated with that label, and you just move down the list. Anything else, Karen?
No, I think this is a great summary of how you can enter information about your makerspace. So it will be easy for people to find your space online and know how to contact you. And then if they want to come visit you, it'll also be helpful for employers to be able to look at locations that have makerspaces, that they might be able to connect with you to help with promoting internships at their company so that they'll find out where you're located. So I think that there'll be a lot of use for this location information that will help you promote your website. Promote your maker spaces. So thank you, Ronnie.
Cool. You're welcome.